Welcome back.
Welcome back to Shop Talk FCB. You see what I'm rocking right here? My man hooked me up with the official shirt.
Official.
Yours will be coming soon.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
We got the mugs. We got the shirts. We're going to have the hats.
Mm-hmm.
A whole bunch of stuff.
Look out for all that merch. It's coming soon. I'm going to take a sip.
That's right. Stay hydrated, y'all.
Stay hydrated.
Stay hydrated.
Oh, my God. The water tastes better in those cups.
Yes, sir. Of course.
It tastes better in the cup.
Why would it taste good in a bottle?
And is it just me, or does this shirt make me look like I've been working out?
Yo, you look like a cocktail,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah,
Whoa.
and I haven't done a push-up in years. Yeah, man. Yo, listen.
Yes, sir.
We are super excited that y'all here today. We're happy to be here. I'm super excited for today's episode. We got the most official guest. He's a really good friend of mine. He just so happened to own all the Dunkin Donuts in the world,
which I visit frequently. But
you feel me? Hopefully he'll bring a little donut package.
Something.
I don't think he will though. You know what I'm saying? He don't be bringing that. Every once in a while he be coming through with the little 12-pack. Shout out to Bashar.
Yes, sir.
Yo, you know, as I mentioned, this is gonna be such a cool episode.
Episode 20. By the way,
this is episode 20.
I had to throw that in there. Yeah,
we had to throw that in there
20.
because there was like a
mix up of the numbers, but we got it straight.
It was my fault.
20.
It was
all good.
I'm gonna take the blame.
It's all good.
You know, this is gonna be such a cool episode because he's very humble. He's soft-spoken. He's about the people. Like, I'm talking about the community,
right?
Not just the less fortunate, but also first responders.
Right. Wow.
I've seen, and also medical staff. So a lot of times things go unnoticed, but I gotta shout out to Bashar because of all the cool things that he does, and because he's able to do those things, it inspires us to be able to put ourselves in positions to do the same or similar. But my man be looking out for the medical staff at your local hospitals and doctors' offices. He be looking out for all the first responders, whether you're a firefighter, police officer, EMS. My man is out there and he's like, yo, if you're clocked in and you got a long shift, I got you.
Wow.
And you know what I'm saying? So
he got to get a round of applause for that. Just for being that type of person, man. Like, who does that?
Official. And also, man, my hair's just stood up. My man also has donated to us countless times.
That's right.
Yeah.
For your events and stuff.
You've been part of these events too. So my man, without hesitation, said, yo, you need coffee? You need donuts? You need hot cocoa? You need muffins, munchkins?
Right.
And he sends the cups, the sugars, the mix, the stir, everything, you know, just to make sure that the event does go smooth, no hiccups, and that the people are happy, yo. Shout out to all the Bashars out there that look out for their community.
Yes, sir.
Making sure that everybody's taken care of, man. We were supposed to start filming about an hour and a half ago.
Yeah, more than that, about almost 2 hours. Yeah.
Bashar.
Yeah.
You're late, buddy. Nah, you know, and that's another thing is like we were talking before the cams came on. Yes, he made us run an hour late and some. The reason behind it is the most responsible.
Absolutely.
You know, he's gonna donate his time to us by joining us on the show.
Right.
But before he could do that, he had to handle business.
Yes, sir.
An ice machine was malfunctioning. A sandwich machine was malfunctioning. My man said, pump your brakes on your podcast. I gotta handle business first, you know? And that's what it's about. It's like we doing this as a hobby for fun with high hopes for what it could bring for us in the future.
Yes.
And for the community. Made it happen.
That's right.
You know, like, it was easy for us. Bacardi left it in my hands. He was like, yo, however you want to do. You know, you want to wait till next week. You want to do it in the middle of the week. Let's just stay. Let's do it. Let's get it over with.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? Because why save for tomorrow what you can do today? I was here already.
Right.
You were local.
Yo, and you're already done with haircuts at 3.
I was done with my appointments at 3. At the end of a little 10-hour shift, you know, you want to go home, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I wouldn't want to stay around. I understand.
But this show is so much fun to do.
Yeah.
It's very fulfilling. And it makes me feel very accomplished on my drive home. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, yeah, he pushed us back, but you know, he was handling business, and that's what really the message is that my man has priorities,
That's
and
right.
we all have to have these priorities,
Yes,
right? Like
yes.
we gotta take care of
You got
business.
to take care of business. And,
gotta
and
take
without
care of
priorities,
business.
there's no organization, man. So.
Right. Quick little history on my
Mhm.
boy. He was born in Buffalo, New York.
Oh, wow.
He should like the Buffalo Bills.
Is that
like,
why you're wearing the Buffalo Bills hat?
Nah,
Oh,
it's
okay.
what I'm wearing. I love that. But you know, he should wear Buffalo Bills
Right.
gear. Instead, he's rocking Baltimore Ravens. We'll talk about that when he was born in Buffalo. But because his family's Palestinian.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So we'll get into when and how and why. But he bounced back home
Yes, sir.
and then came back. Luckily, because I got to meet him.
Right.
My man's fluent
Mm-hmm.
in his language,
Right.
fluent in English.
Right.
He's trying to learn Spanish.
Okay.
He's not there yet.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But he's trying. You know, I look up to him because my man wakes up early every day,
Right.
goes to clock in. And then when you're dealing with employees
Mm-hmm.
and making sure they clock in,
Right.
but they called out, you thought you were going to sleep in
Mm-hmm.
because you just clocked out.
And people think just because you're a boss and an employee calls out, oh, I got it. I could just, no. You got to be there and stand on business and take care of that.
Yes.
That's right.
So, and then like the turnaround rate, you know, what it takes to keep an employee,
Right.
what do we do to keep them happy? Why do they quit? You know what I'm saying? So we're going to get into all that. But
Right.
most importantly, my man is self-made, created something in the community that, you know, wasn't here. And he's maintained it. He's brought it to higher levels, so much so that he's expanding more and more. And don't think that he's just interested in coffee and donuts. My man is also like, his vision is,
Beyond that.
yeah, he you know, he's into real estate. My man is
See.
picking up land, and the reason why is because he sees what that land could be
That's
in
right.
the future, and he wants to be a
Yes,
part
sir.
of that.
That's
Whatever it is.
And we always have these conversations on this podcast. Like, never limit yourself to one thing. Always expand.
Right.
There's more to conquer.
It's true.
Yeah,
It's so true, man. You could do so much more.
Yes, sir.
I cut hair. I'm a barber.
Right.
But that means I can't do nothing else.
Right. No, but you do.
I
you know?
know we do. That's why, having us like this circle of
Yes.
people and these individuals that come here and join us on this show is so awesome because we
Yes.
feed off that energy.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
It puts things in perspective. It lets us know there's more out there.
Mhm.
What are you capable of?
Right.
What's your limit?
Right.
You know? So without any further ado,
Let's introduce him.
let's introduce him.
Oh, he's here.
He's already here. He made us wait an hour and a half, but he's here. What's good, my guy?
How's it going, brother?
Good, how you doing?
Good.
See, you got your
Make
your
yourself at
Shop
home.
Talk mug
That's
there,
right.
but you
Yes,
can
sir.
certainly sip your Celsius.
Oh,
You want to slide over just a little
Yeah.
bit this way?
We're family. Let's get together.
Yeah.
down there.
Awesome. Put those bad boys
He's
on.
good. How?
Yeah.
Can you hear yourself? Can you hear yourself?
Everybody,
I can hear.
welcome Bashar.
What's going
Let's give him a round of applause, guys. Let's give him a round of applause.
Yes. Oh man, you are here, yo.
About time, huh?
Yeah, thank you for coming on, man. For real.
No problem.
You know, my man is busy all the time, not
right.
just like during the day. And he's here with us on a Saturday. Shout out to Bashar for that.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? He needs to. Are you going back to work after this?
Of course I am. This was a pit stop. This is my break.
This is a break, yo.
And he spent it here on Shop Talk,
Yes,
man.
on Shop
That's
Talk,
awesome.
baby. Yo, so you knew we started this a few months back, and I've been like mentioning it to you, and you have been down to be on it since I mentioned it.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
Trying to get on episode 1.
Right. Yeah.
Yo, but you're here today,
That's
man.
right.
Thank you
That's
so
I had to go
much.
through so many hoops to be here.
Yeah,
And
so
you made it.
so that's what I was mentioning is like you had a couple hiccups at work,
Yep.
but you stood back because you had to.
I had to.
Why did you have to?
Who else is gonna do it?
Nobody else was
Nobody
there.
else, that's it.
Exactly. You know, so my man is a boss.
That's right.
Everything else comes secondary.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So how was your shift today, man?
It was something. It was back and forth. You know,
Wow.
sandwich station broken, ice machine broken. Just trying to fix it.
Right.
Ice machine couldn't get fixed. I swear, I texted you.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to fix this ice machine. Couldn't fix it. So I'm like, all right, get a phone call from my other store.
Right.
Sandwich station's not working. I'm like, all right, cool. So I
Wow.
went down to Gloversville.
Mhm.
and trying to fix it, whatnot. Went up to Palatine, got to get a U-Haul to bring the other sandwich station machine from the storage.
And these are miles away from each other.
Yeah, Palatine's what, 20 miles
Yeah,
away?
yeah.
So back and forth.
Right.
Get to the other sandwich station at the warehouse. It's not working. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So had to call the company and just let them know, hey, tried everything, come out. So they come out on overtime.
Right.
But I mean, if you have it, I like trying doing it yourself.
Absolutely,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
But sometimes it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to call up and call for help.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
I have been begging Bashar to open up a Dunkin' out by where I live, because I live in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
And he's like, I tried one time, the town board,
Mm-hmm.
Yo, 5-6 years later, he's doing it. He's doing it. Yeah, man. And I can't wait because we love those hash browns.
Hash browns. We're going to make sure we have hash browns.
You know what I'm saying? We love the extra
Midnight deliveries.
Yeah. Yo, he said midnight delivery, yo.
Wow.
He brought it back. Yo, I used to live in Johnstown.
Mm-hmm.
And me and my girl, we were laid up. And I think it was like 1 o'clock in the morning. But I know my man be working.
Right.
So.
And this was pre-COVID.
This is pre-COVID.
When they were still open 24 hours.
Yeah.
I remember that.
This was 2016?
Yeah.
16 or 15, because I had just taken over.
Wow.
Yo,
I had just taken
Right.
over.
I hit him up. Yo, you working? He's like, yeah, what's up? And I said, did you by any chance? Are you busy? He's like, no, not really. Did you make a delivery?
Was he like the official first Uber Eats in this area before
Yeah.
Uber
Yo,
Eats?
You know
he
what?
invented it right here, yo.
Wow.
Yo, my man came and dropped me off some Dunkin' Donuts because me and my girl had the munchies at
Right.
1 o'clock in the
I
morning.
locked the front door and like, Mike, which house is yours?
Yeah.
It's like apartment 2.
Oh, man, it was great. Thank you so much for that, yo. Oh, man.
That was
So, let the world know where you come from. What's your nationality?
Nationality is Palestinian.
Mm-hmm.
Free Palestine.
We're in,
Mm-hmm.
and killing the innocents on both
Yes,
sides,
sir.
to be honest with you.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
a lot's going on over there.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully it finishes soon, so we can all go back and visit.
Yeah.
So Mike wants to go with us to visit
Right.
one day. So
I was supposed to go 1 year. I don't know what happened. But one day you heard her here. I got an invite.
we've been trying to invite Mike. So everything's just, everything going on over there is just terrible.
It is.
And your family back home is there?
So
are
yeah,
they okay?
so it's like I said from before. It's Gaza's far from us.
Right.
But, I mean, from here to New York City, let's say.
Okay.
But I mean, still, it doesn't matter.
Of course.
Yeah. I mean, 3.5
Yeah.
hours away.
Yeah, and it
Yeah.
affects
And
the
then-
whole country, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's tough. It is what it is.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
terrible to see people dying and kids and
Yes,
whatnot,
sir.
and that's what it is. It's basically kids.
That's
Yeah,
what,
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying, on both sides.
Yeah.
It's women
Yeah,
and whatnot.
we have
Yeah.
too many casualties
Yeah.
on both sides,
Yeah.
and we really just want peace,
That's
man.
it.
Like,
This war's been going
let's
on for too long.
coexist,
Yeah.
you
For
know?
too long.
Way
Yeah,
too
let's
Yeah.
coexist, man.
Yeah.
My man's peoples is out there, guys.
Yeah, yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, for real.
Damn, for real. So you left?
Yeah, so I was born in Buffalo, New York.
Mm-hmm.
We came up here. My uncles had the Dunkins first. They
Okay.
were up in Albany,
Right.
about 12 stores, 12 to 15 stores.
Wow.
Yeah, they were all up in Albany, Schenectady, Troy. They sold out. We came up in 1997. We came.
Okay.
My father and uncle came up here, and that's when we had the old Johnstown on Main Street, if you remember,
Mhm.
and then the old Gloversville store down here on Main Street too.
I've only
So,
seen pictures of them.
Okay. So we had both of those stores first, and then after that, that was it. We closed down the one in Johnstown on Main Street. We moved to Comrie Ave, and then Gloversville closed. And after 5-6 years, we moved up to the old Key Bank
Right.
on Second Ave.
Right.
That's that. I mean, 2015, I took over the Johnstown store, and that was my
Okay.
first store. We bought my uncle's share out, and then 2018, I took over the Gloversville store.
Wow.
So
The Gloversville store was such a crazy blessing.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta fill you guys in on what Bashar did for me. All right, I can tell him, right?
I-
Yo, Bashar, I had a food truck, and I wanted refrigeration and a freezer
I remember.
to store everything on my
Yes.
food truck, like that was to be frozen or cooled in my food truck. So I told Bashar during one of his haircut sessions, I said, "Yo, I'm in the market for a walk-in freezer. If you
Right.
see something,"
Right.
he goes, "Why don't you buy mine?"
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I'm thinking he's joking.
Right.
He's like, yeah, no, I'm opening up a new store,
Mm-hmm.
and I was gonna bring it, but I'm not gonna bring it after work. Come take a look at it.
Right.
I was hyped, but in the back of my head, this is Dunkin' Donuts we talking about here. In the back of my head, I don't think I can afford this. I'm gonna be honest. I'm like, I'm going up there really just to say hi to Bashar because I already know this. I can't afford this, you know.
Right.
I get up there and I'm like, first of all, I couldn't believe this. I was blown away by how big this freezer and cooler was.
Mm-hmm.
So in my head, I was like, oh, this is probably out of my budget, guys.
Right.
But I go, yo, man, what you want for this? He was like, I don't know. He was like, actually, you should buy everything. And I was like, I look around. I see sinks. I see everything, dude. I said, "What you mean everything?" He said, "Everything." And I was like, "Damn, bro, but I don't know if I could. You know, what are you thinking?" Right. And then he told me, "Yo, you come up with a number." And I said, "I can't do that." Mm-hmm. Yo, you go home, talk to your dad, talk about it, and then just let me know.
Exactly.
2 weeks later, I'm cutting his hair. Yo, you ever came up with a number? Mm-hmm. Nah, I didn't. He goes, "Yo, just come up with a number." And I was like, "Is that yo?" I'm not gonna lie, Bashar. I don't really have a lot of money, you know.
Right,
I'm like a little, you know, but I'm interested. It's just that I don't really have a lot of money, and that looks like a lot of expensive stuff. He goes, Mike, I'm not looking for 10,000. I'm not looking for 5,000. When he said I'm not looking for 5,000, like, okay. My eyes went. I said, I'll give you 2,000. He goes, done.
Wow.
So my point is that I just couldn't afford it. You know what I mean? If it was anything crazy. But my man knows where I come from, where I started. Right. You know, he saw that by him doing this for me, he would possibly be helping me be in a better position in life.
Yes, sir.
So my handstand up saying this because, and I've continued to thank you for this, right?
And it says a lot about his character,
bro. I could never forget. So I got all this stuff out. Like I took so much stuff that he texted me. He said, "Yo, leave the toilets."
I walked in and he had this guy there doing it. I walk into the store and I mean we're already into the new store now,
right? And
I gotta hurry up and get out. So I'm texting him like,
yes, sir.
You guys gotta step up. We gotta go.
Yes, sir.
It's all right. So I go in there one day before I even go to my shop and I just stop there to see what they're doing. And I'm looking and I'm like scared. So I'm like, okay, well let me see. So they took down the walk-in freezer and cooler.
Okay.
How they did that, I have no clue.
Wow.
If you saw the person doing it,
right,
you would have. There's so many screws. I'm like, there's no way this guy's doing it. Okay. Yeah. So I walk into the bathrooms. I'm like, please don't take the toilets. Please don't take the toilets. And I'm looking. I'm like, oh, the toilets are there. Right. And I'm like, all right.
Cool. He said, yo, you're gonna leave the floor, right?
I'm telling you, they cleaned out everything.
Wow. Everything, bro. The paper towel dispensers, toilet paper dispensers. Wow. I mean, everything, microwave, ovens,
right. So you was really getting your money's worth.
Everything everything that was inside DD.
Yes. Old signs.
Old signs,
vintage signs for sale if you guys want.
Yeah. I still got some items, and that's fast forward. I used the walk-in freezer and cooler. We're actually in the room where those things
used to be, right? Yeah,
used to be. Yeah, that $2,000 investment generated me total around 17,000 and change.
Wow!
And I could never have done that if it wasn't for his generosity.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? And so what I did with that money is I put it into the building.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was just trying to make sure I used it the right way, make sure that I didn't waste this blessing. You know what I'm saying? Because it really was a blessing, bro. Thank you so much, bro, for real.
I mean, I still come by here and there and see what he's got left.
Right. Yeah, he does.
Sounds like a storage.
That's right. Yeah. I think he owes me now.
I get embarrassed sometimes. Hey, Mike, you got that chair over there?
Right.
I was sitting on the last week. I might need it back this week.
You got that sink you took the last week?
Oh, man. And he knows, man, I still got some stuff. Anything he needs, I got it, bro, for real.
With Mike, we both look at each other. We look, he does his stuff for, Christmas for the kids.
Right, absolutely.
We help him out. And,
hell yeah.
Yes, sir.
Definitely.
So, he throws me in the newspaper with him.
Yes,
Heck
sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Heck yeah. Have to. Shout out to Bashar, Dunkin' Donuts.
That's right. I remember when we did the video for it. I remember putting the Dunkin' Donuts thing in there and everything. I remember that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, man. I lost for words, man. But I'll be thank you so much. And it wasn't even like a huge deal. He's like, nah, man, go ahead. I know what you're gonna do with it, bro. Go ahead. Do your thing, bro.
That's great. That's great.
You know, where like a lot of other people, right? If
They would
they
try to
were,
get the most
they'd
money
be
out
like,
of it.
"Damn, you sold it for what?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Can I get some back? Yeah,
you ain't
like,
gonna
yeah.
give me none of that,
Mhm.
bro." Like,
Mhm.
you know, and it wasn't about that. My man wanted to see me climb.
Of course.
You know,
Yeah.
and that's what it's about. We all trying to uplift each other.
Mhm.
And that's what the podcast is about.
Yes, sir.
Tell us something that presented itself to you at one point that made you feel like, "Ugh, I'm done," or "I don't know if I could do this
Mhm.
anymore," or what's something that stands out to you that was very challenging, but you got through it?
So when I took over back in 2015, I got smacked with a store that was, not gonna say one of the busiest stores in New York,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but I was, you know, the phrase they say, fake it till you make it.
Yes.
That's what I ran on.
Wow.
That's what I ran on because I had no clue. I there was a bundle of, I'll never forget the day too. There was a bundle of 250 and 5s, right? And I counted for 200. Just
Right.
you know, just over counting it
Yes.
or under counting it, right?
Yes.
And at that point, I'm like, well, I can't even count 5. So what the hell am I gonna? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So just stuff like that. You know, you looked at the schedule. I didn't know how to do. Some stuff, you know, emails I had to reply back to. I didn't know how to write an email.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
you're sending it to corporate.
Right.
So there's stuff like that you just, you know, I ran into in the beginning. But now it's like, and I used to call my cousins in Florida, and you know, they have stores too. Our
Okay.
whole family's into Dunkin'.
That's great.
We're all franchisees and whatnot.
Right.
But so I would call them and, hey, how do you do this?
Mhm.
You know, and we had a remodel, for instance, in 2017. I don't know what the GC means. You know what I'm saying? I don't know
Yeah,
what
yeah.
the GC is. I don't know who to get. You know.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So I would call them. But now fast forward 2014, the people that was my cousins I was calling, now
Uh-huh.
they're calling me.
Wow.
I swear.
Yeah.
Now they're calling me, hey, you know.
Because they see how you doing
What
your
machines?
Right.
thing.
Yeah, you know, what machines you got in? I was just in Florida 2-3 weeks ago,
Mm-hmm.
and my cousin's remodeling, and they have more stores than me,
Okay.
right? So I'm going there, and he, you know, he was taking me to all the stores,
Mm-hmm.
and he had a big gap, and I'm like, well, you're not supposed to have a gap like this. I'm like, you're
Mhm.
missing something. So we pulled up the plans and blah blah blah, and he was missing a shelf that goes right there. You know what I'm saying? Something that he missed.
Right.
Yeah.
Him and the GCs missed.
Wow.
So if I didn't show up, and I
Yeah.
told him like, you owe me lunch because if I didn't
Crazy.
show up,
Yeah, yeah.
you guys are gonna be missing this. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So yeah, there's some stuff. So you
Yeah.
know, just you know, stuff like that from 2015 till now, you learn a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's 10 years, almost 10 years now
Heck yeah.
since
Wow.
I've taken over. It's just stuff like that you learn to deal with. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
It's an everyday thing that you have to learn to deal with. Like how Mike said.
How many hours a week would you say you put in? I know you probably don't even
If
count,
it's- I
right?
don't
Because I
count.
don't count
I don't
either.
count.
You should ask him how many hours he sleeps. And then
Yeah.
subtract
You
it.
know what? Even okay, like if I could show you messages.
Mhm.
You know, if I'm going to sleep, let's say at 10 o'clock at night,
Yeah.
because my store closed. My last store closes at 10:30.
Okay.
Right? They don't get out until 11.
Right.
So they have problems though. You got a a drunk guy
Yeah.
outside hanging
Of
out,
course.
and it's all young kids that
Yeah.
work for me. So and I don't wanna keep on calling the cops, but it's
Mhm.
like there's got to be times when to know the call and whatnot. Like that. So
Absolutely.
sometimes I show up, my parents show up sometimes.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And we just make sure they get in their cars and they go home. But at times like that, you got to understand that even with the kids and stuff like that, it's just tough.
Yeah.
Closing and stuff. So there's always problems. There's always going to be something.
Right.
So,
So, unlimited hours then.
Yeah, so,
So
so,
you're right
yeah,
here,
so
basically.
there's no hours. I mean,
Yeah.
and when you go home, are you still playing Call of Duty?
so I am. So that's
You haven't added me
So
yet.
look,
That's why I was asking.
wait. Let me tell you guys something. By the time I get home,
Uh-huh.
summertime, I told Mike I got a garden.
Right.
All right, just to get out.
You
Yes,
got
sir.
a nice garden too.
I got a couple chickens.
Nice.
And I go home from 6 to 8 o'clock,
Right.
9 o'clock when it gets dark.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, from 9 to, let's say 9 to 11, you're just hanging out at the house,
Right.
right? And then after that, it's like, okay, it's either you go to sleep or you play Call of Duty.
Right.
And everybody's on it.
Right. Right.
So, of course, I'm going to get on it. All right?
You got me blocked or something?
Man, look, you never added me. You never asked me.
crying out.
There we go. And the problem is, Mike's the one that told me to get the Call of Duty.
I know. I finally
He told-
convinced
he
him. It's
told
been
me.
3
Wow.
years.
Because I was playing it on the app.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
on
the
the
mobile.
phone.
Yeah,
Right, right.
You know,
yeah.
during COVID.
Right.
Ain't nobody working.
Yeah.
Right? And I was good at Call of Duty a
Mhm.
long time ago.
Yeah.
And and I'm telling Mike, I'm like, yeah, dude, you're not playing with me on the app because I'm really good at it.
Right.
He's like, yeah, just get a PlayStation or Xbox. I'll show you. And ever since then, I'm just shy, embarrassed to tell him, hey, get on with me because that thing is different. Dude.
Yeah, it is.
It
It's a
is
different beast.
Yeah, that thing is different.
Yeah. So
It's
maybe I'll get to play with him one day.
One day.
I just gotta get better.
Yeah.
I only got one game,
Right.
Call of Duty. For
Call of
now.
Duty.
Right.
But you be playing with your cousins and stuff online. And like,
Yeah,
like
so
different
yeah.
states.
So they're Chicago, Florida. They're all over the place. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we get on, we talk our shit.
Yeah, of course.
We were talking about like kind of sometimes your brain goes into a different mode where you might want to venture into a different kind of like a different kind of type of business, another
Okay.
entrepreneur.
Yeah. I don't like changes
Mm-hmm.
if I like something. So if I'm comfortable with it,
Mm-hmm.
I don't. So for Dunkin', for instance, right? So Dunkin', it's Inspired Brands owns it. Okay, so they own like Arby's, Sonic's,
Okay.
Dunkin', I believe Baskin Robbins,
Bojangles?
No, Buffalo Wild Wings. He said Bojangles because I was in the talk with it, right? So he's gonna throw it at me. So, anyways,
Still
stuff
waiting
like
for
that.
Bojangles.
Bojangles, we had a vice president and we had the president come out.
Okay.
Okay, they came to Johnstown.
Right.
We met with them. They flew in from South Carolina.
Right.
And they came out and we were looking at a place up on Harrison.
Oh, okay.
It was
yeah.
the Old Lee Herald building. And we went back and forth, and we had the deal set. And they wanted me to be a franchise. They knew what I was about. They're actually their, let's say, project manager or franchise. The people that they got working with them. His name is Chris Lawson, and he actually used to work with us in Albany.
Okay.
With the brand.
Right.
When he saw my name pop up, he called my aunt in Florida saying, "Hey, your son's out here."
Yeah, we're
2
good.
hours
We're good.
later,
We're good.
So 2 hours later, my aunt calls me and says, "Hey, 1, 2, 3. Chris Lawson called me. Call him. He wants to talk to you about Bojangles." So I got on the phone with them. They came out. Everything was good. They liked the site. It fell through with the Lear Herald building.
Right.
They had advertisement 7 acres, and I wanted my full 7 acres. Right. I was paying about $500,000 for it.
Right.
I brought people to come survey it out because I heard that there was wetlands.
Yes.
And I just don't want to deal with wetlands because
Of
then you're
course.
dealing with the state and then the DEC and all that good stuff. So one thing I don't want to deal with, right? One less thing, if I'm going to pay for it, I want the whole.
Absolutely.
So we went back and forth. We had it surveyed. From the 7 acres, came out to 2.5 acres. Yeah, between 2.5 to 4 acres.
Right.
It was close to 2.5. I didn't take it at that point. I
course,
stepped back. I didn't want to deal with it. But then after that, it's like, okay, well, I had the deal plan set in my mind.
Yes.
Where we're going to do it. But then after that, you just back off. Something's happened for a reason. Now I'm opening up another store. Change is good if you don't like where you're at. If you don't like where you're at, yeah, you got to change. But if you like where you're at, roll what you're doing with. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Heck yeah.
So there's stuff that, at this point, when I was walking in, you were saying about workers and not coming in, stuff like that. Yeah, that's a daily thing. You see it here at the barbershop. We see it everywhere, right?
Of course.
Yeah,
so
I just had one of my barbers call out today.
There you go. You see what I'm saying? It's Saturday. We're busy. So
Who? Sorry.
So it is. It's and that's the life we live in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I was, talking to, I think one of my managers the other day. She's like, "Oh, we need to fire her." And I'm like, "Well, if you fire her, that means we're firing everybody else." Because you got to be fair, right?
Absolutely.
So I'm like, it's not worth it. I'm like, it's whatever. Write her up. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is at this point.
Yeah.
The day's over with. We got through it. You guys managed it. Let's just, run with it. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. We just hiring and whatnot is tough. But anyways, moving to something you want to do is something that, we talked about the last time I was getting a cut. Try looking for a business that you don't have to deal with payroll, car wash.
Right.
Right. So that's something that I'm looking into now because I don't have to deal with no workers. I'll deal with machines.
Right.
If it breaks, it breaks. Whatever.
That's it.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's just tough working with workers.
Yeah.
I employ 50. When the new store opens, we'll probably employ 70, 80.
Wow.
And they all got to talk to, me or my father.
Right.
Most likely it's me.
Right.
So it's 70 people that I'm managing. You know what I'm saying? So it's tough, but it is. But I like it. You know what I'm saying? I never drove a truck with a U-Haul behind it or a trailer.
No?
Today was my first day.
Wow.
That's why I was sweating and trying to back it up and watching YouTube videos on how to back up a truck. I swear. But we did it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We did it. At the end, I couldn't back it up. So
Right.
I just unhooked and picked it up and it was so light. So we moved it. But every day is a learning.
Yeah, dude. It's not easy to
It's not.
reverse with a trailer.
No.
I just did it this summer for the first time ever successfully. I've attempted it a bunch of times, but I've held up traffic all those bunches of times.
Vehicle,
Yeah. Reversing it is like with a trailer.
You got to go opposite.
Yeah, that's right.
But your brain is saying, "What are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing?
Do it right."
So I backed it up straight, or I did the opposite right. I remembered it because I opened up Google and said, how do you back this thing up? So I looked at it and we're good. But my problem was when I lined everything straight with the truck with the trailer, and I was just going backwards, and this thing kept on going left. I'm like, well, why? My steering wheel is straight. Why are you going left?
Right.
So I sat there. I'm like, man. I looked at the guy with me. I'm like, come here. He's like, well, unhook this thing. Let's carry it, push it, or whatever.
Let's carry it. It's easier,
Makes
bro.
Makes sense.
It was 20 times easier.
It makes sense.
It was 20 times easier.
Yeah.
Yeah. So screw it.
I mean, you probably could have messed up the bumper because if it bends too far,
Well, that's what.
Right.
Yeah,
Anything
yeah.
can happen. Yeah.
So
I've been there. Speaking from experience, guys.
that's why I won't buy a boat. Imagine buying a boat.
I would get a boat if I could only go straight.
It's straight.
Because I could go straight and take these turns.
Uh-huh.
But the minute I gotta go backwards,
Yeah.
we lost the boat.
I know,
we lost the trailer.
Lost the truck.
The truck is gone.
Truck is down.
Oh man. So where do you see yourself in about 5-10 years from now? I mean, how old are we?
32.
32.
Oh, you're
You
young,
still
man.
saying you 32? You way older than
lying.
32.
Oh, you lying?
Nah.
I was like, you young, man.
Yeah. So he's a young man, bro.
It's
young entrepreneur.
We got into it young, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I said, it's okay. Well, we got another store going on too, right? After the store, it's only at if the store works out good and hopefully it does and whatnot.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That's when you can make a next move. You know what I'm saying? Where do I see myself? I don't see myself with 20, 30 stores.
Right.
Who knows? Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Mike will say, "Hey, let's be partners and
Right.
move him to California or something." There you go. You see. So, but you never know. You just never know. Like I said, I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like I said, it's not always about changing it more.
Yeah, I mean, you got a garden. You got kids.
Yeah.
I'm just chilling.
Yeah,
At this
yeah.
point. Like I said, change sometimes isn't always good.
No.
Sometimes you just gotta, right
Enjoy
away.
the
what
wave
you
you're
got.
on.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what, too? It's not, I got, my parents got their health. I got my
Mhm.
health. I got a roof on my head.
Right.
Food on the table.
Right.
What could you ask more?
Right.
For dates. That's what you can ask for dates. I'm still waiting for dates.
Get this on, Mike, please. I got them on my kitchen table. You're lucky I'm here. My wife's watching this. Bring the dates.
She reminded you.
She reminded me, and I brought them. They're just on my they're on my table. Actually, I'm not gonna lie to you.
They're on your table.
They're on my kitchen
Not
table.
mine.
No. I had two. And they're really good.
They're really good,
really
he
good.
said.
They are good. Dates are
Really,
good.
really good.
Yeah, he said there's a good spot in New Jersey that
I
he was
brought him
going to
some.
bring me
Man.
some. They didn't make it to me.
You're
Nah,
gonna
it's still in
follow me to
Jersey.
my house after this or whatever.
He got reminders.
Reminders. I brought them. They're just sitting on my kitchen.
Right.
He brought them from Jersey to his house.
Not to your house.
Not to
the shop.
the shop. Not my
Every time I
house.
try to book an appointment, he's booked. So
Yeah. He is booked the
I
whole
get
time.
a special.
He's like
Man,
the president.
he got VIP. He sent a text message. Yo, I'm here. I'm here. Not everybody can get that VIP.
That's right.
But my man can text me anytime. I'm responding, bro.
That's what's up.
That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
You have a question for my guy right
Yeah.
here?
What advice can you give somebody who wants to get into business you're doing? Someone starting out young or someone who doesn't have even a foot up to get into it. What advice would you give them?
Yeah, maybe like a younger version of you that's out there listening.
So I mean, this is, for instance, if you're working with somebody,
Right.
don't think switching to another job is going to help you build or grow, or sometimes staying where you're at
Mm-hmm.
and then growing with that company
Right.
will take you places. You know what I'm saying? Because some people, what happens is, I want to go work for, let's say, for instance, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
And Mike said he's going to give me, $20.
Right.
Which is, let's say $2 more than where I'm at
Right
now, right? And then you get stuck there
Mm-hmm.
because you couldn't fit, or you're not, on the same level as Mike's vision.
Right.
But you were doing good at your first job.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I've seen it too.
Yeah.
A lot of people, I have, a manager that's been with me for almost 15, 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
And she's been good. She's been with, with the whole family.
Right.
But she hasn't moved, but she's grown with us.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? She's working at boat stores. She's managing boat stores. And she gets paid really good.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
She's the other day we were talking. She's like, "Oh, I'm about to buy my house
Right.
for herself."
Good for her.
So if you're,
That's
if
amazing.
so here's the thing too. If you're not, and that's being a multi-unit,
Mhm.
manager,
Right.
And she does a lot for me,
Right.
And I mean, she does. I go back overseas. Mike knows 2-3
Right.
months.
Right.
I don't look at my phone for anything because she's handling
She's
everything.
handling it,
You
yeah.
get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So sometimes it's just running, and that's the problem with the younger generation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I see it because I work.
Right.
Okay, let's say 80%, 70% is all 23 years and younger. Okay,
Mhm.
they're always jumping job to job.
Yeah.
They're always jumping job to job,
Mhm.
and it's not like it's a better job.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, so I'm paying. Let's say I'm paying $15.50 for
Right.
the afternoon shift,
Right. Which is good for a kid.
which is really good for a kid.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Today I had a cut a check for somebody for 21 hours. It was like $400.
Wow.
$400.
Yeah.
Mhm.
When I worked,
Mhm.
I was paying salary. Mike knows.
Right.
Mike knows my story, right?
Right.
I was working salary, and I was getting $250, and I was working 70, 80 hours a week.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Crazy.
it was bad.
Right.
Okay. So and
everybody thinks that like the owner
Right,
is
so much
is
money.
like
Yeah.
They don't know, bro. There's a lot that goes into it.
and that's
right.
next for the next episode.
Yeah.
But that's seriously, I never started in Mike knows. I started just as a crew member.
Right.
And I mean, I was cleaning bathrooms.
Yes.
I remember my dad looked at me. There was a guy drunk and everything in the bathroom that he shouldn't have done, right? And my dad looks at me. He's like, "You better go clean it."
Mm-hmm.
How about everybody else? He goes, "No, you go clean it." So there's a lot, you know what I'm saying? And I was just a worker just like everybody else.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
that's what's
I
up.
pulled up my hours. I pulled up everything. So at that point, it's just, you got to start from ground zero.
Yeah.
If you don't, you're not gonna appreciate it when you do get there.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, just ride the wave. Not too many jobs.
Yeah.
Because the minute you switch and want to do this and want to do that, you're gonna be thinking to yourself, "Why shouldn't I stay at my first job?" And I have people.
Right.
I have managers that came back to me and said, "Hey,
Right.
I want my position back."
Heck yeah.
I got other people that took it.
Can't
You
do
left.
it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's right.
So yeah,
So a lot of those guys burn the bridge, or you give them another shot if they deserve it. You think, or once they're gone, they're gone.
No. Look, I just brought back my old manager 2 weeks ago,
Okay.
and she called me. She was good with me.
Nice.
Right. She never did me wrong, and she cared
Right.
about the store.
Right.
Some small stuff, but it was on me for not overlooking it.
Okay.
I gave her too much,
Mhm.
as in like I gave her too much freedom.
Right.
After that, I checked it, and you learn from it. Yeah,
Heck
you
yeah.
learn from it.
Let me ask you this. Because I be noticing when you overseas, you be out there for months, but your haircut stay fresh.
Oh.
I know the haircut I did don't last 2 months.
So look,
So wait, do you know your barber's name in Palestine?
so my barber in Palestine is actually in California right now.
Oh wow.
So,
What's
yeah,
his name? Shout him out. Shout him out.
Shout out to Mazin.
Okay.
Mazin,
Okay,
yo,
Mazin, yeah,
keep my boy fresh
So,
overseas.
shout out to Mazin. He's in California.
Nice.
He's on a visiting visa.
Okay.
All right. His wife's got an American citizen, so he's out here. I don't know if he's testing the waters to see what he wants to do.
Right.
It's just back home. It's not like it used to be.
Yeah.
After the war, stuff like that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just the income, and then it's just not the same.
Yeah.
With everything, nobody knows. Everybody's saving on to the last penny that they got over there.
That's right.
Because they don't know when they're going to war. They're in war,
Yeah.
but when it's gonna get worse, right?
Right.
But
Mazin.
yeah, shout out to Mazin, dude.
Shout out
He's-
to Mazin.
He
does a good job. I'm zooming into
Look,
the pictures.
he was my first barber back overseas.
Okay.
And he taught me Arabic,
Right.
and he put me under his wing. Things with barbers, right?
Yeah.
Him. Same thing with Mike.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Me and Mike, cutting my hair in the apartment,
Yeah.
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, we go
And,
back. We
yes,
go
sir.
way
Yeah,
back.
so it's always been like that.
Yeah.
I've always liked the barbershop talk,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Shop talk.
Even the shop talk. Okay. So even still, not even because I'm on here,
Right.
Yeah.
But even when I come to the shop, it's
Absolutely.
like, okay, Mike, what's new?
Mhm.
Give me the
Bro,
rundown.
we
right?
be kicking
I'll
it
tell
too,
you,
bro.
he tells me what happens. He's downtown, so I always mess around. Hey, what's up? Another new.
We got some characters, you know that.
Yeah, there's a lot of characters on
Yeah.
downtown.
Yeah.
So
We got some
You're not lying.
characters. Yeah, it's awesome. He knows them all too.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mikey. Shout out to Legend.
Oh gosh.
shout out to Tank.
Oh, Tankador Art.
Shout out
Where
to Tank.
are you,
Tank, we
Tank?
miss you, Tank.
Oh my
We
God.
miss you, Tank. Tank
Yo.
was an artist though.
Tank was an artist.
You can't hate on him for that. Tank was an artist.
No. He was. Remember, he was always
He was
drunk.
an artist. Yeah, he was always drunk, but
He was always
he
drunk.
drew better when he was drunk.
Yeah.
He drew better. When
Do
he
you
was drunk.
remember Tank?
No, I never.
Tankador Art. Real quick before Bashar, because I know Bashar gotta go.
Mm-hmm.
Tank used to. I let him live here.
Right. I remember the situation
Light
now.
bulb, it went off.
Yes.
Yeah, Tank
Gotcha.
was like kind of homeless.
Yes.
I liked him. He was a good guy, and
Mhm.
I said, "All right, you could sleep, but you could sleep there in the shop, but you gotta stay in one room. If you go out of that room, my alarm's gonna go off." So for like a couple weeks, he believed me
Right.
because I didn't have no alarm.
Right.
I was just hoping he didn't walk around and leave the
Yeah.
door open, come back
Yeah.
later, then lock it. Because I didn't give him a key. Once he was leaving, So one day I came and I seen the back door open. He tried my lie. He tried my bluff.
Mm-hmm.
And I caught him leaving. So then now I started adjusting the cameras, and
Right,
now I
right.
know when you leave and
Yes.
leave. But shout out to Tank, man, extra good artist,
Right.
Airbrush King. The original FCB T-shirts came from
Oh,
Tankador
wow.
Art.
Crazy.
Yeah. Maybe you'll see this and come on the show and join us. You know what I'm
hopefully.
saying?
Maybe.
Hopefully. I actually have one question. I mean, actually,
for it.
yeah. The stuff that's going on in Palestine in your country at home, what words would you want to give them of hope and of something that this war will end soon, or just some positive words to send love
Uplift
back
them.
home? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, look, and going on, and we have friends over there,
Mhm.
okay, and talking to them every day.
Yeah.
And so I'm on social media, I'm on TikTok
Yeah.
and whatnot, and you see them and you try helping them out. So I'm actually, I talk to them on almost daily basis.
Right.
And it's just, it's just so tough because, you're seeing these kids, dude, with, their parents are gone
Yeah.
and they're their only person that's left out of their family.
Mm.
So what words do you tell them?
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
What words do you have to? What do you tell somebody like that?
Right.
So there really isn't no words
Yeah.
to tell them.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The whole complex apartment
I
died
know.
or got bombed. Let's say, for
Yeah.
instance, and the 10 families that were 70 people in there,
Mm-hmm.
only one little kid is left.
Yeah.
So what do you tell a person like that?
Right.
Yeah.
You really can't tell them anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, because as much as you want to help, you want to be like, yo, you know what? I'll take that
Yeah.
kid
No matter
in.
what you tell
There's
them,
still like
they're still going
procedures,
through it,
and
yeah.
you
Yeah,
can't just do that.
and you really can't because imagine being in jail.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and it's just
Okay,
an open.
imagining it.
Look, just like an open prison.
Yeah.
Seriously,
Yeah.
that's what it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
They,
Yeah,
if they want to, let's say, even when they go back, and hopefully this war finishes,
Yes.
and even when they want to go back and rebuild it,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm.
And which is a lot of countries are willing to, rebuild and help
Yes.
rebuild. But even when they have to rebuild, they still have to take permission to get everything in. It's
Mm.
not like what you think. Oh,
Right, it's not
okay,
easily
the borders
done.
open up.
Right.
It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
Every little thing gets counted
Yeah.
and where it's going and blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's not that easy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And there isn't no, there's really nothing you
it's
can't
a really
tell
good question,
Really.
though.
Yeah.
Just in case, though, if you guys are listening and you
Mhm.
got the Google Translate and you can translate this into Palestine,
I can do that.
into
We can do
Arabic.
Yeah, Arabic.
We love you. Stay strong. Brighter days are coming.
That. That's right.
And inshallah, sooner than later.
That's
You
right.
know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
That's right.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
There you
That's
go.
perfect. Well, it's just tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. You can't. They're sleeping in tents.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
And you know how hot it is back there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So now they got this skin disease that's going on because of the heat that's hitting the tent,
Mm.
and that's basically burning their skin.
Cooking them.
I was talking to a guy the other day. I'm like, well, how's the mosquitoes?
Mm-hmm.
He's like, dude, they're eating us alive. They're in the really tents.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Horrible.
So it's tough.
Tough
Yeah.
times,
Yeah,
man.
it's
We're praying we got the positive
Absolutely.
vibes out.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And we hope everything like eases up over there, man.
Yeah.
We want love, we want
That's
hugs,
it.
we want peace. You know what I'm
it's
saying?
better to spread love than war. I tell you
Heck
that.
yeah, you
We
heard.
need that.
You heard what? Who said that?
Mobb Deep.
Mobb Deep. We should spread love, not war. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Mobb Deep, R.I.P. Prodigy. This is episode 20,
Yes,
right?
sir. Bente. I don't know how to say it in Arabic, but
We
it's
did that.
episode 20.
How you say?
Episode Ishrin.
There you go.
Episode that's three.
Ishrin.
Extreme.
Ishrin.
Extreme.
You should be able to roll your tongue.
Extreme.
Oh man!
Thank you for joining us,
Thanks
guys.
for joining
Appreciate
us.
it.
Thank
Sorry.
you for taking time out of your
No problem,
busy
man.
schedule
No
to
problem.
come
I
over
appreciate you
here.
having me.
We finally did it. We could, you know what I mean? We was talking about it.
I'm
Yeah.
here. I did
And
it.
he's here.
We here. We
I
did
made
it.
it happen.
Yes,
I made it
yes,
Spoken
yes.
into existence.
Uh-huh.
Let's go.
Made it happen.
And we look forward to other future episodes like this. So
Absolutely.
uplifting, inspiring.
Yes, sir.
I hope that if you got a few messages from today's episode,
Mhm.
especially hard work.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? You
And
got to show up.
dedication. That's right.
Yeah, man, you gotta show up and put
Mhm.
your priorities in line. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Put them from most important to least.
That's right.
And my man's handling business
Yes, sir.
almost all day.
Yes, sir.
Has not added me in Call of Duty.
I'm gonna do it right now. I'm gonna add you right
Add
now.
me.
What's your ad name? Can we get your ad name real quick?
Molecular Trim, you can add me
Oh,
too.
yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yo, peace, y'all.
Thanks, guys.
Peace.